Ghost Story, Horror, Borrow Money to Change Life. Author Jiang Min. Lately, my roommate is fascinated with feng shui novels. I heard that he even worships a certain foreign master as his master. He skips class all day and just stays in the dormitory to practice drawing spells. To look more realistic, he even changed his bed curtain into a funeral curtain. The huge dint really gave people goosebumps. Waking up in the middle of the night and looking through my roommate's bed curtain, I thought I was sleepwalking into some funeral. From a distance, sleeping in there is like sleeping in a coffin. I and other people in the dorm mentioned this many times. You devil, you're making us scared when you do this. Quickly clean up all that stuff. Every time Loi Kwang heard these words, he would laugh and say, "It's nothing. As long as you don't do anything bad, what's there to be afraid of? If not, I'll give you a few amulets that I drew. With my amulets, you will definitely be safe and healthy." Before he could say a word, he gave us those charms. I felt a bit annoyed, so after receiving it, I quickly left. From the moment Loi Kwang became fascinated with these things, he began to spend money like water. In just 3 days, he spent all his living expenses for the whole month. And when he had spent it all, he had the audacity to come to me to borrow money. I was borrowed so much that at night I dreamed that Loi Kwang came to me to borrow money, giving me a headache over and over again. In the dream, I took out a pile of money from my pants pocket, but it was all small change. And the strangest thing was that each time Loi Kwang only took 1 or 2 coins. At first, I only dreamed once every few days, but then the intervals between dreams became shorter and shorter. Now I dream every day. If once or twice could still be said to be a coincidence, but it was the same scene and method, it would be strange. I couldn't help but tell this story to my friend. He immediately turned pale and said, "Tham Thien, what your roommate wants to borrow is not money, but your lifespan." It seems like you're a bit confused. Borrowing your lifespan? Are you kidding me? It's obviously money, even though it's only one currency. How can it be related to longevity? My friend's face gradually became serious. He said this was an evil secret technique he had read about in ancient books. There are people who want to live but have a short lifespan, so they first prepare their own funeral to deceive the evil spirits, hide heaven and earth, and at the same time use specially made spells to make the person whose destiny is borrowed. They entered the dream, using money to exchange for longevity, but because each person's lifespan is determined by heaven, if he borrows too much, he will be punished by heaven. So he only borrows a little from you each time, waiting until the number of times he borrows is large. Come on, once the relationship between the two of you is solidified, he can borrow your entire lifespan at once. My mind. Boom. Suddenly, his words gave me chills. Even though I was in the middle of a hot, crowded classroom, my scalp felt like it was about to split open. How is it possible? How could it be so easy? I could hardly believe it. My heart still held a glimmer of hope. Seeing my lack of confidence, my friend said, "Is it true that every time you lend money to your friend in your dream, when you wake up, you feel very tired, really want to sleep, then you often get a fever, and when you go to the hospital for a checkup, you can't find the cause, human or not?" After hearing what my friend said, my heart immediately turned cold and my scalp felt numb. Absolutely correct. At first I dreamed about borrowing money and then woke up. I didn't feel very good mentally. I thought it was because I was too tired from studying that I lacked vitality. Moreover, for several days in a row, I even went to bed very early, but the more I slept, the more I wanted to sleep. When I woke up, I still felt a little drowsy. It's true that after having that dream, after a while, I started to get a fever. I always thought that I wasn't careful when jogging and exercising, which led to a cold. Each time I only had a slight fever, but it didn't last for a day. Then the fever automatically went away. I went to the school's hospital for checkups a few times, but no problem was found 10 times, so I didn't pay much attention. Now, listening to what my friend said, it seems like there really is a bit of a problem. Seeing my expression gradually change, my friend knew I was starting to trust his words. Everything in the world has cause and effect. Even if your roommate wants to harm you, it must go through a certain intermediary. Only if the necessary condition is met, making you owe him money. Only he can lead you into your dream. Think carefully to see if you have ever received anything from him. Moving into the dormitory, thinking and thinking, suddenly a thought flashed in my mind. Charm. Before that, he flowery said that it was a charm to help me stay safe and healthy. I looked at my friend with a pale face. Indeed, I did receive a talisman drawn by him before, but he forced me to take that talisman, not that I actively asked him. My friend shook his head vigorously. This has nothing to do with whether you take the initiative or not. As long as you take his things without reason, it will create a condition that you owe him things according to the law of cause and effect. This is called borrowing and repaying, so it's not difficult to borrow again. If you already owe him money, of course he can find you to get something back. Or should I immediately buy a plane ticket home? After hearing this, I immediately panicked. If I really couldn't do it anymore, 36 escape plans would be the best strategy. Run first and think later. My friend shook his head. It's useless. You were led into the dream by him. No matter where you hide, it won't do anything. Besides, if you run away, it's easy to beat a snake into the grass. After listening, I couldn't think of any other way. So what should I do now? After a moment of contemplation, my friend spoke up. That's it. I know an expert in this field. Let me find that person to help me. But when you dream, remember not to lend money anymore. Also, find a red string, cut off the middle finger on your right hand, then drop a few drops of blood on it, then tie it on the ring finger on your left hand. This can help you support yourself. A time. Finally, my friend kept telling me, if your roommate already knows this cruel secret technique, remember absolutely not to make him suspicious. Just wait until I come back and continue talking. That night, I returned to the dormitory in horror. In the dark dormitory, as soon as I raised my head, the huge word electricity hit my sight. I was so scared that my scalp was numb. Just as I was about to turn on the light, the funeral-like bed curtain was pulled from inside, and at the same time, a pair of hands as thin as sticks reached out. Tham Thien, you're back. Go to bed early. Don't turn on the lights anymore. Hearing that voice, the scene of a corpse rising up and a zombie bursting out of the coffin appeared in my mind. I stiffly turned around, borrowed the light from the hallway to quickly wash my face, and then hurriedly jumped into bed and went to sleep. It wasn't until after I got into bed and pulled back the bed curtain that Loi Kwang lying on the opposite side also pulled back the bed curtain. But even though I was separated by 2 bed curtains, I still felt like I was sitting on a flat table as before. My whole body feels cold up and down. Turning my head to look at Loi Kwang's bed, I could still feel his terrifying eyes even though I was 2 layers of bed curtains away. It's okay. It's okay. Even if what my friend said is true, Loi Kwang can only borrow my lifespan in my dreams. It can't do anything to me. Well, if you only borrow money in your dreams, then how can you borrow money if you don't sleep? I decided to survive tonight first and then speak again. To avoid him detecting anything unusual, I buried my head in the blanket, leaving only a gap for ventilation. At first, I intended to play with my phone to kill time, but when the clock struck 0, I immediately felt completely confused. Tham Thien, I spent all my money again. Can you lend me some money? When I heard this voice, I was immediately startled. I raised my head and looked around. In front of my eyes was a white fog. I could only see Loi Kwang's silhouette not far away. It's just that right now, he is standing in a patch of fog, his figure disappearing and appearing, continuously waving his hand to signal me to go there. Remembering what my friend said earlier, cold sweat broke out on my back. I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk. I didn't know what the hell this white mist was, but my reason was different. Tell me that it is absolutely impossible to step into the white mist on the other side. Remembering the times I had nightmares before, I always took a deep breath, then turned around like a hawk and stood up immediately, so I could wake up. Yes, as long as I wake up and leave this damn dream, everything will be okay. I thought I had to do it, so I quickly inhaled, wanting to control my body to wake up from this dream. But after taking a few deep breaths, I clearly felt something was wrong. All the tricks used anywhere that were effective were losing their effectiveness here. Even now in my dream, a scene like this appears in my mind. I lay on the bed in the dormitory, my teeth clenched, my hands clenched into fists, and my arms swaying slightly. Logically, this kind of movement should be enough to wake me up, but right now I'm like a bystander. I can only stare at my body, but I can't control it. Tham Thien, why don't you pay attention to me? As soon as the words ended, my mind seemed to stop working immediately. I stiffly raised my head. At this moment, Lôi Quang had come very close to me. Even when he got closer, the white mist seemed much thicker. Seeing that I finally raised my head to look, the corner of Lôi Quang's mouth curled up into a strange curve. Tham Thien, Ghostu, lend me some money. I was about to say I had no money, but then I felt my shirt pocket bulging. When I opened it, I saw a pile of loose change. Seeing the money in my pocket, Lôi Quang's eyes lit up. That's right, Tham Thien. If you have that much money, lend it to me. I touched the stack of money in my pocket and suddenly realized something was wrong. There was less money. Although I don't know how much is missing, I'm sure it's much less than before. In the beginning, I also had money in my dream, the kind of money that was so much that my pocket was bulging, but now it's just a little bulging. Does this money really represent my lifespan? The more I borrow, the shorter my lifespan? No, I can't lend it anymore. It's better to believe it's there than not to believe it. Sorry, Quang Tu, I need to use this money now. Wait a few days and I'll lend it to you, okay? As soon as I finished speaking, Lôi Quang's face darkened and the white mist behind him also began to billow. Why? It's just a few coins and you don't want to lend it to me? Do you consider me a friend? I need something urgently, Ghostu, please lend it to me. After saying that, Lôi Quang immediately rushed to steal my money. I quickly hugged my wallet tightly. I also exercised regularly, but I couldn't understand how Lôi Quang looked so skinny, but was as strong as an ox, and I couldn't fight him. After a fight, I was still robbed of some money by him. Right after being robbed of money, I immediately sat up, touched my head, and realized that I had been sweating like rain for a long time. And a feeling of fear spread throughout my soul. I pulled back the bed curtain and saw that it was already early morning. I was about to get out of bed to find a drink of water, but I didn't expect to fall to the ground with a thud. Before I lost consciousness, I seemed to see that the bed curtain next to Lôi Quang was also pulled open. At noon, I woke up in the hospital at school. I wanted to sit up, but found that I had no strength left. I instinctively raised my hand to touch my forehead. Sure enough, I had a fever again. Without thinking much, I immediately called my friend. Hey, last night I dreamed again. In the dream, he took my money. What should I do? As soon as I finished speaking, my friend's voice on the other end of the phone seemed to punch me right in the ear. What? Haven't I told you not to lend him any more money? Are you criticizing me for not dying fast enough? I suppressed my anger. I wasn't planning on lending it to him, but he jumped right in and stole my money. I don't understand how it happened, but in my dream, I was absolutely no match for him. I said in one breath, Suddenly, the other end of the phone went silent, and when I couldn't help but ask where my friend was, he answered me. Big trouble. At first, I thought your roommate was just trying to get you to owe him money. Then he used the dream method of borrowing money to rob you of your life. I also think that if it's just a normal loan, if you refuse, then he won't be able to do anything to you in your dream. But I never thought that he would dare to take the risk of stealing your life in his dream. This is no longer a normal life borrowing, but life taking. You think that you are dreaming. In fact, when you sleep, he leads you into his dream. In his dream, he will have absolute control. No wonder you don't want to sleep, but still sleep. Your roommate is really cruel. After listening to my friend's words, my heart trembled, not being able to borrow it, so I started to rob it. Moreover, I couldn't even resist. Isn't this like turning into a fish and lying on the chopping block, letting people kill me? Noticing that my mood didn't seem to be very good, my friend spoke again from the other end of the phone. I still have a way. I told you yesterday, use a string soaked in your blood to tie it to the ring finger on your left hand. In addition, find some yellow paper and write down your date of birth, of the two of us to go up there. Then find a little bit of dirt mixed with your hair, wrap it in there, and put it under the pillow when we sleep at night. Yellow paper. This is not difficult. Find a store that sells ghost burial items and buy a few sheets. The red string, my blood and hair are all simple, but what is negative earth? The negative land is the grave land. Why do we have to write down our birth date? Writing our birth date is equivalent to us exchanging identities. In other ways, you are me, so you can fool his eyes. After returning to the dorm room, I discovered that Loi Kwang had disappeared. I trembled and hid the items my friend had told me to, tied a red string around my hand, and quietly waited for the night to fall. Waiting and waiting, that ghostly feeling came back again. While I was sleeping, suddenly there was a shock that brought my consciousness back to the real world. Dreaming absent-mindedly raised his head, he immediately faced Loi Kwang's gaze. Following his gaze, I silently said it wasn't okay. He had already seen the red string tied to the ring finger on my left hand, and even the smell of fresh blood was still wafting in the air. I quickly stuffed my hands into my pockets, bowed my head, and was about to go back to bed. But unexpectedly, Loi Kwang pulled my hand back. Tham Thien, while you're in peace, why did you tie a red string on your left ring finger? Hearing that, my body suddenly became tense. Was he finally discovered? Ha ha ha, it's nothing. It's just for fun. After saying that, I originally intended to move away and go to bed, but I didn't expect Loi Kwang's hand to be like pincers. Even if I wanted to escape, I couldn't escape. Tham Thien, listen to me, even though I don't know why you have to do that, but you should take down the red string. Tying this thing on your hand will bring back a bad omen. Hearing that, my face darkened. A bad omen. Ha, a bad omen for you. I tied the red string, so I won't be easily led into your dreams anymore. I won't be able to steal your life. Mine, of course, you must be impatient. I want to tell me to take off the red string, so I can continue to have my life robbed by you. Dream on. I didn't pay any attention to him, just pushed his hand away and was about to climb into bed. But then I heard Loi Kwang's words, and I almost fell off the bed. Left male and female, the soul lies on the ring finger. A red string is tied on the hand. The soul does not leave the body. The red string is stained with blood, going to the yellow spring. Tham Thien, someone wants to harm you. After hearing what Loi Kwang said, I fell into a state of complete confusion. What the hell? That friend of mine wants to harm me? How can it be? Even if he wants to harm me, at least not right now. And you, Loi Kwang, my friend, now you drag me into your dreams every night to steal my life. You are really the one who wants to harm me. Thinking like that, I secretly had an idea in my heart, turned around and went to bed, not paying attention to him anymore. Seeing me like this, Loi Kwang understood that I didn't believe him. He sighed and walked to the table, sat down, looked at my figure and said, "Come here and talk." Actually, I was going to refuse, but I was worried that maybe Loi Kwang would get too angry and hurt me. Let's just maintain this false peaceful atmosphere for now. Even if he wants to do something to me, I already have my friend's magic weapon, so I guess he won't be able to have his life taken away so easily anymore. Thinking like that, I climbed out of bed again and sat on the chair near Loi Kwang's place. Seeing that I still had some doubts, Loi Kwang sighed and slowly opened his mouth. Before that, I discovered that there was something a little unusual about you. There was a period of time when I was bewildered, thinking that something was bothering you or that you had lost your soul. I thought I would help you call your soul back and it will be fine. But after I investigated a bit, I discovered that you did not lose your soul, but in your body, there is another soul. The reason you are bewildered is because the extra soul is fighting for control of your body with you. At first, I wanted to forcefully chase that residual soul out, but I was afraid of hurting you, so I thought of a way, which is to make your lifespan quickly expire, so the soul will automatically leave the body. I asked my master, the way to do the least damage to you is to borrow your life. Make your lifespan quickly run out. Wait until the extra soul leaves your body, then I will give you your life back. Then you will be fine. After listening to Loi Kwang, I felt dumbfounded. Is there some mistake? Is there more than one soul in my body? Why didn't I know? I shook my head, not thinking anymore. I started thinking, comparing weight and light. In the end, my friend's words were much more convincing. In other words, I actually dreamed that you borrowed money from me. That money is my lifespan, right? One currency represents a year. I lend it to you. Is it the same as giving you my lifespan? Loi Kwang was silent and nodded slightly. So you had the same dream last night, but why didn't you say anything and take it away? Why don't you explain clearly to me? Hearing that, Loi Kwang's face also became ugly. He fell into deep thought for a while before opening his mouth. It's not that I don't want to explain to you. If I tell you, will you believe me? I'm afraid that if I explain to you, you'll just think I'm crazy. On the other hand, I also don't want to fight a snake. My soul will not sneak into your body for no reason, nor can I pull out the rope before completely chasing it out. After listening, I quickly caught the loophole in the words and began to refute. If you don't want to fight snakes and raise grass, then why are you telling me these things now? Hearing my question, Loi Kwang's expression began to become distorted, sometimes looking at his hands, sometimes stretching his legs, as if he was hesitating whether to slap me or kick me a few times. Because I discovered that you tied a red string on your left hand, I suspect that the person standing behind is preparing to kill you. Now I have a guess, that is, someone intentionally put a soul inside. Your body, I want to become a howler to take the place of a guest bird. Use a new soul to replace your soul. The purpose is to borrow your body and restore your soul. I bowed my head to think, but couldn't think of any reason, so I asked directly, on what basis should I believe you? Loi Kwang's expression clearly showed sarcasm. He said, after you tied this blood-soaked red string on your left hand, your finger suddenly became inexplicably hot, and after tying it, you immediately felt sleepy, right? Hearing that, I thought about the state after tying the red string and nodded repeatedly. From the moment I tied this red string, I always felt insecure. Compared to the words of Loi Kwang and my friend, I trusted the feeling of my body more. The person behind the scenes wants to harm you. Besides this soul-locking red rope, that person probably still uses other tricks. So has that person ever given you anything? While I was thinking wildly, Loi Kwang suddenly asked me such a question. I thought about it, finally took out the yellow paper wrapper from under my pillow and gave it to Loi Kwang. Loi Kwang opened it, brought the soil under his nose to smell it. He immediately turned pale. Tham Thien, Do you know what land this is? I nodded slightly and answered, This is negative land. I took it from the grave. As soon as I finished speaking, Loi Kwong immediately scolded me. You still know that this is negative soil. You also know that this is soil in the grave. If you knew that you still dare to put this under your pillow, are you criticizing you for living too long? Huh? I was immediately stunned when I heard that. My friend said this thing can fool other things, making sure I'm safe. Loi Kwong was almost so angry that he burst out laughing. I said, Tham Thien, are you stupid? Can you brainstorm a bit, even if you don't know? At least you've seen the TV series, right? I've never seen it, but I've heard it before, right? To ensure peace, the Taoist who chases away ghosts will use cinnabar to draw charms, use peachwood swords or Loi Kich Mok. Have you seen the Taoist use this kind of negative energy, like the soil in the tomb, to repel demons and eliminate ghosts? Now, that person is not saving you, but is harming you. Maybe that person is the mastermind behind this. Listening to Loi Kwong's words, I was stunned, remembering the movies I watched when I was a child. Just as Loi Kwong said, there really is no Taoist who uses this to eliminate demons and eliminate ghosts. What should I do now? I gulped miserably, my heart a mess. My mind was spinning. I thought that Loi Kwong wanted to harm me, but I didn't expect that the result was that I unfairly blamed Loi Kwong. The person who wanted to harm me was my friend. At this time, Loi Kwong's face was not very good. What's wrong with the moon? Let me find a place to handle it. The day Ghosty puts this thing under the sun. Let the sunlight shine for a day and it will be fine. Having said that, Loi Kwong immediately took those things and walked out. At this moment, I quickly took off the red string on my ring finger. Without thinking too much, I threw it into the trash. Anyone who likes to tie this thing can tie it. I won't tie it anymore. Climbing into bed, I immediately saw my friend's message. What's wrong? Have you finished preparing your things yet? Believe me, as long as you prepare everything carefully, you will definitely be safe. Seeing these messages, I immediately went crazy. While saying that I wanted to be good for me, I was also planning to stab me with a knife, right? Thinking of this, my hands immediately began to dance on the keyboard. Are you sure? Or do you have other plans, Lakfam? After sending the message, it took a while for me to receive a message from my friend. He sent me back a sign. You know very well that this negative earth is a bad omen, and you still want to cheat and tell me to put it under my pillow. Do you want to harm me? Taoist people all use peachwood, thunderbolt wood, cinnabar, black dog blood, black donkey hoof. Everything is full of positive energy. You're the only one who told me to use these yin energy things. You're scheming. What? Just a moment after sending the message, Lakfam called. As soon as I picked up the phone, Lakfam's impatient voice immediately came through. Tham Thien, who told you those words just now? I coldly opened my mouth to answer. What, am I not right? Tham Thien, I don't want to harm you. The effect of the negative earth is to hide your positive energy. At night, the positive energy on a living person's body is like a flickering fire. If there is no something to cover, they will easily find you. The reason I didn't tell you was because I was worried that you would be scared. I didn't expect that your roommate would take advantage of this loophole, heh? What? I ignored the surprise rising in my heart and quickly opened my mouth to ask, is that really so? It really won't affect me? Lakfam smiled bitterly and replied, well, there's also my birth date inside. Am I still making fun of myself? Hearing that, my hands immediately grabbed the phone tightly. Yes, even though Lakfam wanted to harm me, in the underworld there was not only my birth date, but also Lakfam's. How in this world would anyone dig their own grave? So, what should I do now? I hesitated for a long time before carefully opening my mouth little by little. Really, how can I be so easily led by others? Now that the golden wrapping is gone, what should I do if I'm led into the dream again? On the other end of the phone, Lac Pham thought for a long time, then continued. So listen to me, Tam Thien. Put your bloody red string under your roommate's pillow. Maybe tonight can be avoided. I nodded on this side like a chicken pecking rice. While Loy Kwong still hadn't returned, I gathered the red string from the trash can, suppressed my fear to the bottom of my heart, and stuffed it under Loy Kwong's pillow. Hope I won't have any more dreams tonight. The next morning when I woke up, it had been a long time since I felt this refreshed. Remembering what Lac Pham said last night, I placed my bloody rope under Loy Kwong's pillow. So when Loy Kwong falls asleep, it will be very difficult to lead me into the dream because there are two streams of my breath. Thanks to that, the effect of visual deception is achieved. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but praise Lac Pham. It seems Loy Kwong is still not trustworthy. In the end, only Lac Pham is good to me and can really help me. At the same time, Loy Kwong's bed curtain was also pulled open. He glared at me viciously. Tam Thien, why do you still doubt me? Saying that, he pulled out the red string. Witnessing this scene, I implicitly understood that Loy Kwong knew Lac Pham's ways. Furthermore, yesterday Lac Pham told me he had found a solution and maybe he would be here before sunset. It's broad daylight. Do you still think I'm afraid of you? Yeah, and I've already made it clear that negative earth was originally used to hide the aura on my body. This could make them mistakenly think that I am a fellow human being, thereby helping me avoid within their sight. Pausing for a moment, I continued to express my doubts. Furthermore, yesterday I used Lac Pham's method. I finally slept well until morning, and when I woke up my spirit was also refreshed and comfortable. I haven't felt this healthy in a long time. Having finished speaking, I looked at Loy Kwong with provocative eyes, wanting to show off my aura, but unexpectedly Loy Kwong was shaking like a leaf. Lac Pham? He had an accident on the way home during vacation, died on the spot, and until now he has not seen the dead or the body. Hearing what Loy Kwong said, I immediately stood up and shouted, "You're just lying. 2 days ago he was still talking to me. How could he be dead?" Perhaps because I wanted to increase my courage, I screamed so loudly that I could blow the roof off. Loy Kwong looked at me with pitying eyes, opened the phone, and gave it to me. At this moment, I glanced at the news on my phone. Although the image on it was blurred, I could still see Lac Pham's silhouette. While my fingers were still shaking, Loy Kwong opened a file, which was a report about that traffic accident. Seeing this, I believe what Loy Kwong said just now. If Lac Pham is dead, then what was texting and chatting with me a few days ago? Just thinking about it, I felt a chill run down my spine. Even though it was the middle of the day, even though the harsh sunlight was shining in through the window, I still felt like I was standing in an ice cellar. Lac Pham said he found a solution. He might come here today. It's not okay. Loy Kwong's expression changed. Pausing for a moment, I continued to express my doubts. Furthermore, yesterday I used Lac Pham's method. I finally slept well until morning, and when I woke up my spirit was also refreshed and comfortable. I haven't felt this healthy in a long time. Having finished speaking, I looked at Loy Kwong with provocative eyes, wanting to show off my aura, but unexpectedly Loy Kwong was shaking like a leaf. Lac Pham? He had an accident on the way home during vacation, died on the spot, and until now he has not seen the dead or the body. Hearing what Loy Kwong said, I immediately stood up and shouted, "You're just lying. 2 days ago he was still talking to me. How could he be dead?" Perhaps because I wanted to increase my courage, I screamed so loudly that I could blow the roof off. Loy Kwong looked at me with pitying eyes, opened the phone, and gave it to me. At this moment, I glanced at the news on my phone. Although the image on it was blurred, I could still see Lac Pham's silhouette. While my fingers were still shaking, Loy Kwong opened a file, which was a report about that traffic accident. Seeing this, I believe what Loy Kwong said just now. If Lak Fam is dead, then what was texting and chatting with me a few days ago? Just thinking about it, I felt a chill run down my spine. Even though it was the middle of the day, even though the harsh sunlight was shining in through the window, I still felt like I was standing in an ice cellar. Lak Fam said he found a solution. He might come here today. It's not okay. Loi Kwang's expression changed. If I guess correctly, Lak Fam is definitely the mastermind behind it. Today he returned, stating that he has a way to return to his senses. Tonight is the perfect opportunity for you to return to your senses. I plunder your body. If you don't find a solution, tonight you will definitely die. No way, no, it can't be that fast, right? Even though I didn't want to accept it, I still held out a glimmer of hope. Loi Kwang shook his head sadly and gave me a mirror. I lowered my head to look and immediately froze on the spot. My reflection in the mirror was deeply sunken eye sockets. My face was yellow, and it was so haggard that it couldn't be more haggard. I sat on the chair, unable to believe everything. I obviously felt that my current mental state was very good, but why was I so haggard? Loi Kwang walked up to me and tried to say, "Maybe it's like this. You feel like your spirits are good because you're about to die, so a reflection appears." Through Loi Kwang's explanation, I understood that perhaps Lak Fam died unwillingly, so he wanted to borrow my body to restore his soul. He put a part of his soul into my body first to enjoy my lifespan. This will ensure that the evil spirit does not catch him, and at the same time, that part of his soul enters my body. Also intended to compete for control of my body and soul, which was also the reason why I was drowsy and bewildered all day long. Loi Kwang originally wanted to shorten my lifespan by borrowing it. It would probably make Lak Fam not kill me anymore because I am a short-lived devil. This way he could bypass me, gain the sky, hide the earth. Wait until Lak Fam changes his target. Loi Kwang will return my borrowed life. Everything will return to normal. But Loi Kwang didn't expect me to be stupid enough to tell my situation to the person pulling the strings behind me. So everything Loi Kwang had done up until now had been in vain. Last night, Loi Kwang should have intended to directly take away all my remaining life, but unexpectedly, at the last minute, Luo Fam was still able to ruin it. He couldn't invite me into his dream, leading to the loss of my remaining life. What was mine was taken away by Lak Fam. According to what Loi Kwang said, because last night Lak Fam took away my energy and longevity, so my soul is now extremely weak. Perhaps tonight is the time for Lak Fam to do it. Howlers take over guest birds' nests. At night, I lay down in the coffin as Loi Kwang told me. Even if Lak Fam wanted to be a howler and take over the guest bird's nest, he would definitely have to use his own soul to defeat my soul, chase my soul out, and turn me into a wild ghost. Tonight, Loi Kwang led me into my dream again. As long as my soul is in Loi Kwang's dream, if Lak Fam wants to achieve his goal, he must enter Loi Kwang's dream to find me. Until then, we're 1-on-2. We still have a chance. My condition right now is not very good, and Lak Fam has not much time left, so tonight he must succeed. Otherwise, he will definitely have to find a new goal. But in the process of finding a new target, it is easy to be caught by evil spirits. Thinking of that scene, I held the tree branch tightly in my hand. Perhaps this would protect my life at a critical moment. Loi Kwang told me that only magic can defeat magic, and this branch in my hand can whip them, and it will definitely have a deterrent effect on them. As time passed, I closed my eyes and entered the dream that Loi Kwang had prepared for me. In the dream, that white mist still appeared as usual. But this time, Loi Kwang didn't stand there anymore, but he walked straight in front of me. At this moment, the corners of his mouth kept lifting. It could be seen that he seemed to be in a very good mood. "Why do you look so happy? Huh? Is it okay?" Although Loi Kwang said so, the curve of the corners of his mouth became larger and larger. His lips were dark red, as if they were smeared with blood. I won't say anymore. Just let everything end tonight. Very quickly, the white mist in front of him rolled again. A familiar figure came from afar. If not Lac Pham, then who else would come here? Tham Thien, why do you keep searching and researching the truth? Sometimes dying in an unclear way is as much a happiness as being liberated. Don't waste your words. If you dare to come today, then just prepare to be devastated. Having finished speaking, Loi Kwang gestured to me with his eyes, one in front, one behind, creating a pincer position to surround Lac Pham. After fighting for a while, Loi Kwang and I easily restrained Lac Pham. After all, this is Loi Kwang's dream. On the one hand, he has the advantage of being the master, and on the other hand, he also has my help. Suppressing a soul from the outside is as easy as a joke. Lac Pham's face showed sarcasm. If I dared to come here, do you think I didn't prepare a way out for myself? At this moment, my eyes suddenly turned red and I swung the branch. The tree in his hand turned towards Loi Kwang. Loi Kwang didn't dodge or dodge. He reached out and grabbed the branch of the tree, looking at me and smiling sarcastically. Lac Pham, I knew right away that you were still trying to trap me. The ghostie that I had already warned against, the pure-sounding sycamore tree branch, is the most favorite place for ghosts and ghosts. You used the euphorbia branch to whip me because you were afraid that I wouldn't strong enough to replenish my yin energy. As soon as he finished speaking, Loi Kwang's hand holding the other branch suddenly started to burn brightly. Loi Kwang was stunned and exclaimed, "This is not a tree branch. How is that possible?" Hearing Loi Kwang's pitiful scream, Lac Pham looked down. "Do you think that I left a soul on Tham Thien just to gain longevity? No, my son. After he fell into a deep sleep, another soul of mine controlled his body to change your tree branch into peach wood. Ha! Then use the remaining soul to control Tham Thien's body and use peach wood to hit your eyebrows. Is this last blow a surprise? Ha! Looking at Loi Kwang's body becoming more and more blurred, Lac Pham's mood also improved. He looked towards me. His eyes were like looking at a prey. "Tham Thien, my good friend, you don't want me to turn into a wild ghost, right? Will you lend me your body?" When Lac Pham wanted to get close to me, the white mist poured out again. Instantly covering Lac Pham, Loi Kwang's voice came again. "Even though your idea is good, this place is a dream I created. If you want to do something here, you're still a bit immature." Lac Pham's voice became smaller and smaller. With the naked eye, one could see the white mist disappearing. Eventually, it turned into dust along with Lac Pham. Waiting until the white fog had dissipated, I discovered that I was standing next to my body, at the foot of which was the coffin in which my body was lying. At this moment, Loi Kwang flew down from above to my side, showing a sinister smile. "Tham Thien, I saved your life. How should you thank me?" I raised my head and remained silent. "How about using your body and longevity to repay me?" Loi Kwang was sure he had won, his face full of pride flying towards my body. At this moment, I was extremely weak, not as agile as him, so I could only watch as he walked next to my body and then crawled in. Ah! Loi Kwang seemed to be seriously injured by something. At this moment, his whole body was smoking, and he looked like he was about to die. Looking at his unwilling appearance, I slowly opened my mouth. Actually, from the beginning, I didn't trust either of you at all, because what you said was just one-sided words. Moreover, you had to say it again and again. You were both very serious. Young man, how great can his bravery be? So, on the one hand, I talked to you guys properly. On the other hand, I called my parents to tell them about it, asked them to help find some old Taoist temples, and told my situation to the Taoist leader there. Listening, I finally realized that all of you were lying to me and wanted to kill me. At the last minute, my parents sent me incense ashes taken from the temple along with the robe that the leader once wore to perform the Dharma. I wore the robe inside so that I could ensure that my soul was left alone. Unable to enter my body, I placed incense ashes under my pillow, so no matter where my soul wanders, it can return to my body before dawn under the guidance of God. Incense ashes. My soul and my body are inherently one, so the robe cannot affect me. But you are different. You want to enter my body, so you will definitely be injured by the robe. Looking at it like that, I'm afraid I won't be able to endure much longer. Looking at Lo Kuang's body becoming more and more blurred, I knew he could no longer respond to me. But who cares? Just say it if you like. It's like he's mumbling to himself, but it could also be talking to Lo Kuang. The reason you can lead me into your dream is because of that thing you call a peace charm. Plus, you deliberately arranged your bed into the shape of a coffin, making me sleep day and night. Afraid, that's why you have the opportunity to act. After I finished speaking, Lo Kuang's figure also disappeared in the wind. I felt a force of power pulling me out, pulling me back to my body. The borrowed and stolen lifespan was also returned to me again, along with the disappearance of Lac Fam and Lo Kuang. I sat up. Now I feel truly refreshed. Don't have the intention of harming others, and don't trust others too much. In this world, there is no love that appears without reason, and there is no free meal. Free things are the most expensive things, because you will never know what you use in exchange.